Alright, let's take a look at that. Let's move the camera. Right, so turn 1 is one of many heavy braking zones. Brake in just before the 100. Or you could use this loudspeaker megaphone thing as a reference. Obviously staying out nice and wide. You don't really need to worry about that first apex too much. It's all about getting the mid-corner rotation and then getting on the throttle as early as you can, obviously to get a good run down the straight here. So using all the track on the exit. Then we've basically got the same corner again but in reverse, so just before the 100 again. Let the car wash out. You don't have as much space as the previous turn between the two apexes, so you need to use more of the track or use all of the track here. And then you'll see I'm kind of picking up the throttle, but not all the way because I don't want to compromise cars turning too much. Obviously I want to start to accelerate, but I don't want to understeer, so I'm just picking the throttle up about 70%, and then once I know I'm going to make it 100%. And the next turn, just before the 100 again, probably more like 125. See, I'm staying off the curbs on the corner entries here. You can use them, they're not that aggressive, but I prefer not to. You probably will see people using the curbs on their braking. It's just a personal thing. So this corner is quite deceptive. It looks like it's not that tight, but it is really quite a slow corner. Again, trying to get some good rotation right on the apex, and then pick the throttle up as soon as you can. Use all of the curb, stay out on this curb. Because you don't brake here, I do use the curb. And then there's an awkward shift up to 4th. You leave it in 3rd, you'll hit the rev limiter, with my set at least, sort of on the apex. So I try and get the shift done before I'm in the middle of the corner. Slight little lift of the throttle just to make sure you're going to make it. Use all the curb, and then get back over to the right. And the little Marshall's hut here is a good reference, or the start of the curb. And I found using 3rd gear through this S's works pretty well. So you bog down a little bit here, but you make the time back, because if you were in 2nd, you'd be shifting back up to 3rd immediately, and then that brief shift costs you the time you just made up. So it's really up to you. If you're struggling to get the rotation in the right-hand section of the S's, maybe 2nd gear would be better, because it will give you that extra turn in, but then you will, in terms of outright lap time, you'll lose whatever you just gained on the exit because of the shift back up to 3rd. And as I said last week, it's 2 extra shifts. So if you're struggling with gear shifts, then maybe don't bother, leave it in 3rd. So then again, we're back over to the right-hand side. Bit of a tricky one for a reference because the 50's too late. I guess I think my rhythm is once I've gone back to the right, I start to brake. So obviously that's difficult because people will get over to the right at different times. But if you kind of naturally go over to the right without forcing the car. Like, once you've finished exiting the corner, you're just kind of moving over to the right, and then you're on the brakes. So it is the 75, I guess, but there isn't really a reference for it. You just have to get a feel for it. Again, this is a very slow corner. You want to use the brake to get some good rotation. So I've got a little bit of brake trailing up to the apex, just to rotate the car, and then as soon as I'm done with that, full throttle. Hope you don't run into the grass there. Again, the 100 board. This is the first 100 board that I actually brake on the marker. A lot of the markers I'm using as reference are still in front of me when I start to brake. Like, you'll notice the first 2 or 3 corners that I'm actually braking when the car's like here, or here, probably more accurate. So it's like just before the marker, but here is actually on the marker. And then again, stay wide using a little bit of trail brake just to rotate the car. And then picking up the throttle as early as you can, trying to stay on the track there. Now, this braking zone is deceptive. It's obviously clearly very steeply downhill, which means it extends the braking zone a little bit. And it's a slow corner, so you want to brake on the 150. I do actually use the curb a little bit there, but not in the initial like heavy braking part of the braking phase. So when I initially jam on the brakes, I'm staying on the track. And then once the weight transfer has already happened, then I'll drift over onto the curb, roll off the brake, pick up the throttle, don't run wide, and then you can use a bit of this. I didn't do enough experimentation. Yeah, I only did a mere 36 laps. So I don't know where the off track is. I'm going to assume that it's half the car over the line. So pro tip is always to paint a central stripe on your car. So you have some good reference there for whether you're off the track or not. And then for this final turn, I like to leave the car in third. I could shift down here, but I'm kind of focusing on hitting this apex because it's so important. So I'm just forgetting about the gears for now. And then hit that apex, although I still didn't get that quite right. I would like to have probably been half a car further to the left. Almost want to have your left tyres go through the grass here. And then make the shift. And then obviously if I was half a car further left, I would have had a much nicer line here for the final corner. Pick up the throttle nice and early, and that's a lap of Motegi. The key thing really is, key thing I would say is getting that mid-corner rotation and setting up the exit. It's almost every single corner is setting up the exit. So that's what you really, really want to focus on, is getting the car rotated quickly and then picking up the throttle as early as you can, because it's basically all slow corners onto straights, apart from the middle sector. So yeah, that's the key thing to focus on. All right, I guess that's probably it for the video.